Imagine waking up to find 2 million dogs roaming your city streets. That's the potential reality for residents of Seoul, South Korea, if the Korea Dog Meat Farmers Association carries through with their startling threat. In a move that would make even the most ardent dog lover think twice, the association is considering unleashing 2 million strays near government landmarks and lawmakers' homes. And all this canine chaos is in response to a proposed dog meat ban. Now, we've all heard of protests, sit-ins, marches, strikes. They're part and parcel of any functioning democracy. But a mass canine release, that's a new one on us. It's a unique, if somewhat bizarre, form of protest. Talk about letting the dogs out. The proposed ban, introduced by the ruling People Power Party, aims to end the dog meat trade by 2027. It's a move that's been met with rare bipartisan support, including from First Lady Kim Keon-hee. But the farmers are barking mad about it. They argue that their livelihoods and cultural traditions are at stake. Offenders of the ban could face a maximum 5-year jail sentence or a fine of 50 million won. That's around $38,000. It's a hefty price to pay, and the farmers are not taking it lying down. They're standing up, and they're prepared to let the dogs stand up too. All 2 million of them. South Korea has over 1,000 breeding farms, 34 slaughterhouses, and 1,600 restaurants serving dog meat. The practice of eating dog meat has faced controversy due to animal cruelty concerns and the increasing popularity of dogs as pets. But with this threat of a 2 million dog protest, the controversy has just been cranked up a notch. At this rate, Seoul might just turn into the world's largest dog park. But why all the canine commotion, you ask? Well, let's sink our teeth into the meat of the matter, shall we? South Korea, a country known for its vibrant culture and booming technology, is currently embroiled in a dog-eat-dog situation. The ruling People Power Party has introduced a proposed ban on the dog meat trade, aiming to end it entirely by the year 2027. This ban isn't just a gentle nudge in the ribs, mind you. It comes with a 3-year grace period for businesses to transition out of the trade. And if they don't, well, offenders could face a maximum 5-year jail sentence or a hefty fine of 50 million won, which is about $38,000. But here's the twist. This ban isn't just a political ploy. It's a rare instance of bipartisan support with backing from the First Lady herself, Kim Keon-hee. And it's not just the political bigwigs who are on board. Polls show that a majority of South Koreans oppose dog meat consumption and support the ban. Animal rights groups, of course, are wagging their tails in delight at the proposed ban. However, every dog has its day, and the dog meat industry is barking back. Previous attempts to ban dog meat have been met with protests from the industry. With over 1,000 breeding farms, 34 slaughterhouses, and 1,600 restaurants serving dog meat, according to authorities, the industry isn't just going to roll over and play dead. They argue their livelihoods and cultural traditions are at stake. So that's the crux of the issue. A nation divided by a controversial tradition, a government trying to make a change, and an industry that won't go down without a fight. Looks like the stakes are high and not in a delicious BBQ kind of way. So what's the beef with the dog meat trade? Well, let's dig into the bone of contention here, shall we? The dog meat trade in South Korea has been a hot topic of debate for quite some time now, stirring emotions on both sides of the fence. On one side, there are animal cruelty concerns that have many people barking for change. The conditions in which these dogs are kept and slaughtered have been under heavy scrutiny, with many arguing that it's high time for a change. Additionally, the increasing trend of dogs as pets has added another layer to the issue. Our furry friends are no longer just working animals or livestock, they've become family members, companions, and even therapists in some cases. But let's fetch another perspective. In South Korea, the consumption of dog meat has cultural significance. It's seen as a traditional food, especially during the summer months when it's believed to provide energy and vitality. Many older Koreans still hold this belief, and for them, removing dog meat from the menu is akin to erasing a part of their cultural identity. Moreover, there's an economic factor at play. With over 1,000 breeding farms, 34 slaughterhouses, and 1,600 restaurants serving dog meat, it's an industry that provides livelihoods for many. And while polls show a majority of South Koreans oppose dog meat consumption and support a ban, there's still a significant number of people dependent on this trade. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and this issue is no exception. The proposed ban has been met with growls of protest from industry representatives who claim their livelihoods and cultural traditions are at stake. And yet, animal rights groups and a significant portion of the public are howling for change. It's a tricky situation, folks, On one hand, you've got man's best friend, and on the other, a culinary tradition. It's a doggone dilemma indeed. But what about the livelihoods of these dog meat farmers? That's a question at the forefront of this heated debate. The Korea Dog Meat Farmers Association is putting up a fierce fight, arguing that their livelihoods and cultural traditions are at stake. Consider this for a moment. There are over 1,000 breeding farms in South Korea, all dedicated to rearing dogs for meat. Add to this, 34 slaughterhouses that process these dogs, and over 1,600 restaurants that serve dog meat on their menus. That's a substantial industry, folks. Now, we are not just talking about a few isolated businesses here. This is an entire segment of the economy that stands to be impacted. These are people whose livelihoods are intricately tied to this trade. People who have been involved in this industry, perhaps for generations. The Farmers Association is not just concerned about the financial implications of the ban. It's also about cultural traditions. Eating dog meat is a practice that has been part of South Korean culture for centuries. It's deeply rooted, and for some, it's not easy to let go. However, it's important to remember that traditions evolve over time. They change as societies grow and develop. And sometimes those changes can be challenging, even painful. But they are often necessary, and in this case they are driven by a growing concern for animal welfare and a changing attitude towards pets. What we're witnessing here is a clash of values, a struggle between the old and the new. It's a complex issue that doesn't lend itself to easy solutions. But one thing is clear, this proposed ban has stirred up a hornet's nest, and the farmers are not going down without a fight. It seems the farmers are barking up quite a tree here. And it will be interesting to see how this story unfolds in the coming days and weeks. So let's keep our ears to the ground, folks, because this is far from over. So where does this leave us? As we come to the tail end of our discussion, let's take a moment to summarize this peculiar predicament. In one corner we have South Korea, a nation grappling with a cultural tradition that's becoming increasingly controversial. In the other, we have the Korea Dog Meat Farmers Association, whose members are threatening to unleash 2 million dogs in protest of a proposed ban on the dog meat trade. This ban, introduced by the ruling People Power Party, seeks to phase out the dog meat trade by 2027, giving businesses a 3-year grace period to adapt. Those who fail to comply may face a 5-year jail sentence or a hefty fine of 50 million won, which equates to roughly $38,000. The proposed ban has been met with rare bipartisan support, including from First Lady Kim Keon-hee. However, previous attempts to implement such a ban have been met with protests from the industry. While a majority of South Koreans oppose dog meat consumption and support a ban, the farmers argue that their livelihoods and cultural traditions hang in the balance. This brings us to the potential implications for South Korea's international reputation. The practice of eating dog meat has faced criticism due to animal cruelty concerns and the rising popularity of dogs as pets. The ban is seen as a significant step towards improving South Korea's standing in the global community. But what about the farmers? Well, there are efforts to help them transition to more sustainable livelihoods. The Humane Society International has been working with dog meat farmers to encourage them to pivot to other trades. However, whether these efforts will be successful remains to be seen. So will we witness an unprecedented canine chaos in Seoul? Or will the dog meat farmers find a way to adapt to the changing times? Only time will tell if the streets of Seoul will echo with the sound of 2 million barks. Until then, keep your paws crossed.